Guys, it's Constance with Charming Custom Crafts, and I am trying to catch up on Lucky Charms month. So this is going to be Lucky Charms Day 5. I'm trying to make sure to lean over my shoulder. Yes, this is Lucky Charm Day 5 for March 2016. And maybe some of you on the Facebook page probably thought that this was just any other type of picture, and it's not. It's an actual layout. So I'm going to show you. It's called Cookie Days, Soaking the Milk Away. And some of you might remember watching this a lot when you're a kid, or you have your kids watching it now. But this is my Cookie Days, Soaking the Milk Away instead of Sunny Days. Okay, you guys get it. So that's kind of how I got the theme or title of this one. So I found a few years ago Sesame Street paper. I have 2 of them, and what I did, because my husband was a big Sesame Street nut, he loved Counts, his favorite. I don't know if I really have a favorite. I know I love Snuffleupagus, I loved Cookie Monster, and I love Big Bird, and of course Oscar's the Grouch. So I don't know if I really have a favorite. Of course, I liked Bert and Ernie. It's been a while, see? So I ended up taking the piece of paper and I cut the buildings away from it, and I decided to make my own little building down here. So I believe that this is a cricket cutout, if I remember correctly, and then I have some cookie jars with some cookies that were made from a cricket. So I'm going to take this card out here and I'll show you that. I used the blue for the sky, and I had some, not die cut, machine cut clouds done, and I cut out the cloud from the original where it was Sunny Days with the airplane, and you'll see me use that piece down the line. But I cut out the airplane and I put some clouds in to kind of coordinate with this one and the sun up here. They are pop dotted up here, and these are just alphas. I don't remember which alpha that they are, but what I did with this building, which it was actually connected, JJ, which was connected to other buildings, I ended up cutting the piece off here, which you can kind of see here. And I took glossy accents to make the glass looks more realistic. See if you can see that, the little gloss to it. And I put it here, and I put it on the glass. JJ's up in my lap. I put it on the glass that's not the open window here, obviously, but just over the glass, and the glass over the lantern lines on the front of the building. And then I did the same thing. It's just glass to this part, or glossy accent to this part, not through the wood piece here, the trims, but this is here and here because that would be trim. I turned, and it used to be it was named the One Bakery in the show. Actually, I think it was a shop. Hooper Shop, I think is what it was called. A Hooper store. I covered it over with my electric. I know I was selling my dynamo, but my husband got me a USB printer so that I could change the font for what I want. So I just put Fry Bakery since it's our last name. And I cut down to make sure that the sign was still there, because otherwise it would have cut down anyway. And I used this, what I considered the closest thing I could get to cement, and I cut this round corner area, so this would be the street, like you're going into a corner of a street and turning. I almost put a fence here to look more like where Snuffleupagus was back here, or Big Bird with his big nest, but I decided not to do that. And I almost thought about opening the door, but I didn't want to put a lot of pictures in this because of the fact that this is going to be more of the scenery, and I really like it. And of course I have Cookie Monster here that's cut out from the Cricut cartridge, and then I took a punch, I think this is the silhouette punch, not punch, die cut of the word bubble, and I just put Soaking the Milk Away, and I put some cookie jars down here with some cookies, and I glossed a little bit here. And this would be in 95 that I'm going to be putting pictures in here. And I'll explain that in a second. But I put cookies here instead of it being vegetables and things here, since it was more about Cookie Monster. And the reason behind I did this is because when my son was little, and if you guys follow me, my grandmother passed away in December. And the one time I got the chance to take my son, he met my grandmother about a handful of times, I guess, but he doesn't remember her. But the one time I got a chance to take him when I was a kid, my aunt and my uncle were there, and my cousin, which is now a daddy to two himself, that are way older than what my son was in this picture. These pictures that'll go in here. But my aunt gave my son some Oreos, and he was in a walker, and she thought it was funny. I'm like, can't give him no cookies. It had nothing to do with me having a problem with me eating the cookies. It's just we all know what Oreo does to a toddler. And I should say an infant, because he was nowhere near walking yet. So it was around about 8 months old. I'm thinking between 6 and 9, pretty much. I'm not quite sure. I have to go back and look at the pictures. But let's just say he looked like him and Cookie Monster had a contest. So I thought it'd be cute to use him for this picture, or for this background. And what I did, if you saw at the beginning, I had this here. I have an apple here. And then I have this ribbon, and I do have some of it, I believe, up for sale. I used just enough for this that I wanted to. And of course you can see that the characters are all on here. Of course Elmo wasn't around, or Zoe, when my son was little, but that's a place to put a picture in for the apple to hold the picture. But if you flip it over, I put Crazy Day, and then I'll explain the story that I had here to make it look like a chalkboard. But if you take, because this is a flat black thin piece of paper rather than cardstock, but if you take the apple off, wherever it's 1, 2, here it is, and you flip it open, so I have a picture for standing up, and then I have 2 pictures for flipping down widthwise. So if there's any room, I'll be able to write something above it, but I wanted to look more like a chalkboard, since we all know that Sesame Street is one of the teaching shows on the TV nowadays, and it's been on for at least 35 some plus years, because maybe longer, because I know I've been watching it since I was probably 3 or 4. I'm 41. So anyway, these are my cookie days, soaking the milk away for the 5th of Lucky Charms day of the month of 2016 for March. Hope you like the pictures, and I hope you like the layout. I had fun making it. Bye guys.